All right, my name's Tim. This is my shop, Trick Factory Customs. Probably most recently known for the creation of the Evil Evo. So with the Evil Evo brought us a huge barrage of questions as far as decision-making processes, execution, fabrication techniques, and a whole gamut of other things. So you guys have asked us to create a YouTube channel, so we have. This is episode 1. So you're gonna get to come through this entire process with us on Rob's car, all the way from A to Z.
Nowadays, nothing really is ice. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on blinking, she freeze. Photo, please, no photos. G's, no, please, no photos.
The free candy Trick Factory band.
This is the entire theory that these cloud formations are actually what's fucking knocking waves out of the sky.
Really?
Alright. Now we get serious.
Perfect. For like fucking ride height set right there, the backs that come up and touch. Should we put the go jacks underneath the wheels in the back and just lift it up, get it so it looks like it's perfect and then measure?
Mr. Miller, are you ready?
I'm rolling already. With you caressing your car.
Okay. I just love it so much. What's that? Oh, cool. Okay, well, this is my Z. This car I've had for a long time. Finally, I got it to a place where I can start making some moves. I've been collecting parts. I got a couple of key pieces. I got about 4 things that I started with. I got a bitchin' set of Toyo R888Rs. We're gonna put a meaty 305 in the back. I think it's gonna be necessary because I'm doing some sort of LS in this vehicle. Very likely gonna be 6 liter. I got myself one of my must-have components. I got myself a Tremec T56 Magnum F-spec, so it's the shorter one. I got that for this car so I can pull the engine trans as far back to the cockpit as possible and try to make this a little bit more racy. I am gonna be doing a full tubular chassis on this car. Everything that was underneath the skin of this Z is gonna no longer exist as it was. We're gonna recreate the whole thing. It's gonna take a lot of work. It's gonna be a long process. We're gonna try to get it done as quickly as we possibly can. My springs are awfully soft. We gotta up the spring rate on this.
Those look like horseshoes, not springs.
I got a little excited when I had the torch out, okay? I had to see what it looked like slammed. I'm pumped, because it's been a long time coming. We got the Rock-A-Bunny kit on it, bolted up really easily. It fit really well. I'm really impressed with that. I'm gonna be doing a lot of carbon work on this, or carbon, composite. I'm gonna be doing a bunch of it. I actually took a lot of inspiration from another YouTuber that many of you probably already know. His name is Tim Hicks, and he runs Industry Garage. YouTube channel that I watch to get inspiration from my Datsun, because I've been watching this guy for years, is Street Bandito. You guys should check it out. I'm probably gonna do a lot of similar things to this car that he did. Once we get it done there, then we'll have to come up with some sort of idea on how we're gonna fixture this pinch weld flange down to the chassis table, because everything else is getting cut out, right? So that'll be critical. It's gonna be used like the whole time we're in it. And we're gonna play around with a lot of like actual functional aero on this car. I'm really excited to sort of dig deep into that. And I would like to explore that a little bit. We'll see. I've never really done a lot of that kind of stuff. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna learn a lot on this car, which is kind of the whole point of this build. This is gonna allow me to do kind of whatever. I mean, it's gonna be awesome. This part of the chassis jig represents the front subframe. This part is for the firewall. This represents the area where the transmission mount should be, we'll see. And this is where the rear subframe goes, on here, on this jig. So, give or take what we decide we're gonna do. You might have to shift them around a little bit, but this gets us started. Let's put it in place. That's where we're at. We try to push the boundaries. We're trying to learn new things and get better every single day. This car is a representation of that. I hope to come out the other end at a whole nother level. I'm looking to explore some pretty fun stuff. So I'll do this and then I'll climb under and then I'll reach over and do that one, so you'll have like a really good vantage there. Cool. Here we go. There's a lot of things that don't exist on this car yet that I haven't made any true like concrete decisions as to, like, you know, a lot of the detail things, like what kind of seats, steering wheels, you know, all the electronics. I want this thing to be a pretty modern, stripped down luxury race car. I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of you, but that's kind of where I'm headed on this. It's like a really fancy sort of version of a race car. I'm gonna do the same thing on this car, save for one thing. I am actually gonna maintain the stock dash, because that is one of those iconic Z car things that just, the shape of it is so beautiful. I really want that to be in this car. Everything else I'm just gonna make from nothing. So the next thing that we gotta do is we gotta make our fixture plates that go at the pinch weld part of the body here down to the chassis. We'll line this whole thing up, square it up, make sure it's on center, make sure it's perfect. We don't do all that now. Everything that we build from this point is just a nightmare. So we'll take a lot of time to make sure that we get this thing at ride height, square, centered, dialed right in. And it's gonna take a little bit of effort just to do that. So once we have this thing fixtured to the table and I've exposed the whole underside of the chassis is open and nice and clear, we'll get rid of all this stuff. Then I'm gonna take a Sawzall, some cut off wheels, and we're gonna quite literally remove every single piece of the existing underbody, firewall, everything, to leave just the outer shell. And once that's done, then I'm gonna get the LS and my T56 Tremec trans with my dry sump pan on, set that in place, pull it back as far as possible. I'm hoping to get the whole driveline system pushed back as far as possible towards the cabin to get that, you know, a better ratio front to rear. And we'll get the rear subframe in place. I have an existing subframe that I bought, front and rear, from an S15. I was going to originally use them. I don't think I'm going to use them now. Definitely not going to be using the front S15 subframe and suspension system, because where I want to go is a lot more extreme and a lot more handmade. So I'm going to be doing like a double wishbone upper and lower control arm setup on the front. We're doing full all-around pushrod suspension, rockers, coilovers and everything tucked in real nice, race car style. Just something interesting. Like, it's gonna be pretty cool. Don't know what color we're gonna do yet. I have a couple ideas in my mind, kind of where I want to go. Things like that kind of come sort of just it's like an organic decision that kind of comes later on in a project a lot of times. depending on the wheels that I choose. If I want exposed carbon, do I want raw metal in a brushed finish? A lot of things like that. Those are all kind of things that we're gonna sort of just evolve into. And you know, you guys watching, you're gonna get a chance to see all that happen. We wanna take, this car right here is gonna be one of those kind of things where we get to do it step by step. And we do appreciate everything you guys do, all the comments and all the love that we're getting. It's fantastic. This last year for us has been awesome. This is the Z. This is my dream. It's gonna come true. You all are gonna hopefully come along for the ride. And every week we want to put out a new video. We're gonna try to make sure that every single week we have a solid video of the build of this car. From this point moving forward all the way to the very end, kind of be a part of like every decision that we make during this build and kind of see how we do it.
Back to this, what's the intro part that I'm doing right now? I'm Tim from Trick Factory. We do stuff and things. This is some things that we're gonna do and stuff. Done.
I could put subtitles to the bottom of that. Let's say we'll have a new episode week. We'll attempt to have.
No.
No? Okay, we're not.
We're fucking locking her in on Thursday.
Okay.
I